What's up, my friends? Happy Monday to you. Wish I had a little bit better news on the rate front. I didn't see this coming. We were only down 8 basis points most of the day, finishing the day down 44. So we're going to take a look at rates closely today. But going to start today off by answering a really good question I just got via email from a gentleman we're going to call Eric. We're going to protect his anonymity because I know the situation he's in. The questions he's asking are fantastic about should your first purchase be your primary residence or an investment property? And, it's interesting to look at both possibilities. So we're going to come back to this. We're going to do some of the timely stuff. We'll look at the markets. We'll look at interest rates. We're going to do that here in just a second. What I would like to do in the meantime is pull this guy up. Now let me see how this is looking. If I move myself over here. Okay. So let's take a look at this question. And, this is something that more and more people are pondering, especially with the advent of Airbnbs, VRBOs, etc. The opportunity to buy an investment property seems so lucrative and so beneficial that it maybe even supersedes the old-fashioned sort of graybeard approach of, hey, you have to buy your primary residence first. So let's take a look at this. And this is coming from Eric, who's a very intelligent person. And we're going to see that here through the process of this question. Hey, I watch YouTube videos, live up in blank. Not going to give that away. My wife and I are on the fence about whether to take a chance on buying an Airbnb. So I notice a couple things here right off the bat that are coming from Eric's mouth. Is he saying, should we take a chance? So he's kind of admitted like, okay, maybe this is more risky, but should we take a chance buying an Airbnb in Palm Springs or Big Bear? I do like both of these markets. I do. I think it's important to note that he did say, hey, take a chance because it is a risk, right? Palm Springs, Big Bear, the second home markets are the riskier markets. Always. Always. If the economy were to take a hit, those areas are going to see the greatest suffering, if you will. Or should I buy a primary residence first? The numbers seem fantastic on the Airbnb for my research. Looking 650 to 750K price point and using private money or more creative financing structures and not a primary mortgage. We rent up in, not going to give it away, and she teaches in blank, not going to give it away. So staying close for commuting is huge. It's North County, okay? Live in North County, San Diego. Looking at 3-bed, 2 baths in our area, which are anywhere from $725 to $850, which is the top of what I want to pay per month and would wipe out a decent amount of liquid that I have. So we pay $2,700 a month in rent. Now, this is a perfect situation where, rents have gone up a lot. A lot of people who are renting are paying way less in rent than market rent. And I've been telling you this phenomenon that rents, you think rents have gone up, you have no idea. The home that they're renting could easily rent for $3,500, maybe $4,000 a month, maybe more. Maybe more. There's so little for rent on the detached side. And so there are some people out there who have really good deals on rentals. If you have a really good deal on a rental, please make sure that you're banking money every month towards your future purchase. I'm okay with you renting as long as you have a plan, you have an action plan. I'm okay with you, sticking with the rental even for a little while, as long as it's part of your strategy. As long as it's because you're going, you know what? A 4K mortgage is a climb, but not undoable, which is what he says next. Okay, so you can afford 4K. Hope you're banking that $1,300 a month. If you are, it's okay. It's not ideal. It's okay for you to be renting because you're putting $1,300 a month towards your future home purchase. So I can live with that. The problem is the market, as you've seen, has been running away from us. It's running away. And it's running faster than you can save money. And that's the reason why there's some urgency here. However, my landlord sells where I end up looking at market rent. It seems way higher now post-COVID. And it's true. So what that means is, hey, if I want to move, I want to move to a different location, I want to move to a different type of home. Or, hey, if the landlord just wakes up one day and goes, whoa, what's going on? Or sells the home to someone else who, even if they want to rent it, they're going to want market rent. And it's going to be way higher. So we make around $200K with no kids. Just not sure if I stay put or bite the bullet now. And advice would be massive. I do dispositions assignments for a group of real estate investors. So in the real estate game, understand comps, just nervous that I will get something at $750 to $850, and the market just seems high, not overly confident that it will stay or that I can have equity eventually. Equity eventually is an important concept. And that's one thing I want to really land on here. So, and then, okay, I'll finish this, then I'll go back through everything. It just seems less important if I lose equity in the short term on the Airbnb, as long as the revenue is good. However, with my primary residence, I would almost need to take advantage of tax savings, equity, etc., in order to make the Airbnb happen after buying a primary. So it seems like it's a lot further away to get an investment property if I buy my primary first. And here I'm going to go ahead and take a payment hit. So the way he's looking at it is, hey, listen, if I go and I buy, I'm going to end up paying $4,000 a month. And that's why I'm going to take a cash flow hit, and I'm going to empty my money out of my savings account too for my down payment. Whereas if I go and I get creative with financing and I buy an Airbnb, I'm going to actually be cash flowing, which may pay for my rent. And that's interesting. And it really is. Here's the thing you have to ask yourself this. Whenever you're choosing between two things, which one has the worst case scenario that you dislike the least? I know that seems like a lot of double negatives, like a triple negative. Which one has the worst case scenario that you dislike the least? So if you take a chance on buying an Airbnb, what could happen? Well, a lot of things could happen. Okay, I'm buying this home in Big Bear for Airbnb purposes. One day, Big Bear, they outlaw Airbnbs. Just like that. Property values. You'll be able to hear the sound of property values going down if that happens. Same thing could happen in Palm Springs. It could happen anywhere. That's one thing with Airbnb. You just got to understand there's local governments can override you. They can kick that idea to the curb at any time. So you can't buy a place just because of Airbnb. You have to make sure that it long-term rents too. And if they did something like that, all of those Airbnbs would be converting to long-term rentals at the same time. So that's going to get pretty competitive. So it's very risky to buy an Airbnb. It's more risky than anything else, honestly, in real estate. So your worst case scenario there is that you really take it on the chin. And in fact, to go back here, so not overly confident it will stay or that I can have equity eventually. Well, if you have a black swan event that takes place and you bought the Airbnb, now you're really susceptible to the market, right? Because you're not cash flowing, the value's going down. You're really screwed. You have nowhere to go because you don't live there. That's the difference. That's the difference. If you buy a place that you live in, as long as you like the home, who cares whether it goes up or down in value? Doesn't matter until you want to sell it. And when you buy your primary home, your biggest risk when you buy your primary home is that you might not be able to make the payment, right? Because you're responsible for it. You're not counting on renters or people who are Airbnb-ing your place. You have to make the payment. So your greatest risk is that you will not be able to make your payment and therefore be forced to liquidate and sell the property and potentially lose equity that you've created and down payment money and all that. So that's their biggest risk. So which worst case scenario is the one that you dislike the least? And I think that right now, Airbnb is a big deal, but I think in a few years, we'll have a lot more clarity about how it's going to happen going forward. There's a lot of places that are super like property rights oriented that it's still a real process for Airbnb. It's just, I mean, the hotel lobby, the hospitality lobby is pretty strong and they hate Airbnb and they've gotten to local governments all over the place and it's risky. It's risky. So you just have to know that. Are you cool with the risk? I've been looking at this a lot in a lot of different places. And there's a reason I haven't pulled the trigger. And the main reason is, for me, I see it as just being too risky. Like if you're afraid that you're paying too much now, which is kind of what we're saying here, like, hey, I'm afraid that it's just like too high, right? Well, if I'm afraid that it's too high right now for a primary, then that means that it's even more risky to buy an Airbnb because we're in the same market. But the Airbnb is a riskier thing anyway. There's more things that can go wrong versus your primary. There's more things that would cause a liquidation event, an event where you would need to sell versus a primary. So personally, I like the idea of buying the primary first because that, for sure, you want to talk about equity eventually? For sure, you get equity eventually with both. Which one's going to be quicker? It's the same because we're buying in the same market unless the black swan event comes. And if the black swan event comes and you bought a house in Big Bear and they no longer allow Airbnbs in Big Bear because they're building or they're renovating a hotel up there, the big hotel that was up there, they're renovating that. There's new ownership there. they're going to be trying to push buttons. They're going to be trying to compete with you, and they're going to be trying to, get the local government to put some sort of cap on the Airbnb stuff. I guarantee it. So I don't know what's going on in Palm Springs. I'm not as plugged into that market, but I know people are absolutely crushing Palm Springs on Airbnb. Just murdering Palm Springs with Airbnb. Just the numbers I've been hearing are so jacked up that, it makes you want to just get your wallet out, just take it. So I get the appeal to it, but we got to understand, are we risk averse or do we want to be aggressive? If you want to be aggressive, then go for it. Go for the Airbnb. Just know what you're doing. Just know what you're getting yourself into. I think it's always okay to buy real estate as long as you know what you're getting into and you're being honest with yourselves. You're not, buying into some idea that someone's fed you, but you've actually done your own research. You feel good about it. You know what the risks are and you're okay with it. As long as that's the case, I'm cool with it personally. But definitely it's a lot less risky to buy your primary, and especially to buy your primary in a market that is already sort of understood what the Airbnb climate is. So can you imagine if they hadn't put a lid on Airbnbs in San Diego, what would have happened to prices? That's why a lot of people don't like it, because they're like, it's a government overreach, like it's, property rights and stuff. And that's true. But I'm okay with it because it does put a little bit of a lid on things. If investors were just looking at all the properties in San Diego to purchase for Airbnb purposes, and the hotels had nothing, and they couldn't do anything about it, it was just going to happen, prices in San Diego right now would be at least 25% higher than they are, maybe 50% higher than they are right now. I mean, way higher. And we're way up there. They would just be so much higher. So I'm okay with it because it puts a lid on things. So when you're buying in San Diego, North County, the city of, I'm not going to mention your city, but your city is not San Diego. So, they may have different rules. When I lived in Del Mar was like immediately, the Del Martians said, hell no. They immediately went to action and said, none of this here. So different areas are reacting differently to it. Like Encinitas or Oceanside, they are going to have different rules. The more inland you go, the less rules you should see. But again, it's still up for potentially government involvement, regulation, and potentially impeding what you want to do. So it sounds to me like you love the numbers on the Airbnb. Feel free to go that way first. You can just buy it as an investment property, 25% down, and you're good. Buy it as an investment property, 25% down, and then set up your Airbnb. You're going to have to make sure you know what the local rules are, get all your licensing, fill out your paperwork, do what you need to do there, because they will be hawking it. So you want to do that, go for it. Just know that's the much more risky route. So Eric, I hope that answers your question and makes you feel good about whatever direction you want to take next. It sounds like you're a risk taker, no kids, so I know I was a lot more risk on before I started having babies. You guys are making good money. It's a time to take a risk and to go get out there. Just know what you're getting into. Thank you for the question. It was such a good one. I had to just dive right into that one today. All right, now let's take a look. Mortgage bonds. What happened? Come on. God candle Friday, bad guy candle Monday. Pretty much erased everything. There is a rollover today, so that's definitely part of this. There's a coupon rollover. That could be maybe half of this, maybe 20, 22 bips tops. And so I'm going to kind of just chalk it up to that. I didn't see a reprice for the worst today come through, although this move happened very, very late in the day. We'll see how rates open up tomorrow. Unfortunately, quoted a lot of people today, the day that we're down 44 at the end of the day. But, this is unfortunately the way that it works. The good news is, the way I see it, the uptrend is still intact. And so that's really what I'm trying to track right now, is just kind of like, what is this channel here, which is moving us higher? Every time we've had a pullback in this channel, as you can see, we've come roaring back. I mean, just look here. Here was the first pullback, and then we had two nice green candles, right? Actually, three technically, even though that one was a little ugly. And then we had the pullback here. That was the day I called my shot, took my victory laps the next day or the day after. Then we had two really nice candles there. So far, in this channel, when this has happened, we've seen some good action following it. And we're going to hope to see some more of that tomorrow. And hopefully we can stay inside this channel. That's really what I want to see right now. All right. A couple things here. Look at the markets today. Dow's up a little bit, just a little eager today, kind of green across the board. Actually, gold, 1826. How about that? Gold up 0.09%. No, it's down a little bit. But I make fun of gold. I shouldn't do that. Oil, $82. Bonds, a 10-year, 149, under the 150 mark. That's a big deal. Bitcoin, holy smokes, team. And we're heading into, so the daily close for Bitcoin, it's open 24/7. The daily candles are wrap at 5 p.m. So 5:01 all the way around to 5 p.m. the next day. That's each daily candle. So today's daily candle is wrapping up right now, up huge, 7.5%. Now it's 67,000. I believe that is a new all-time high for Bitcoin. Ethereum made a new all-time high today as well, although it's only up 4%. Only up 4% today. And then I don't really care about Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and XRP. I really don't, even though I own XRP. These are the two guys right here. These are the two horses. The two horses you need: Ethereum, Bitcoin, and you're just going to see them continue to go higher. There is one thing that's concerning besides this vaccine mandate. White House tells businesses to proceed with vaccine mandate despite court-ordered pause. Court-ordered pause. We're talking about blatant disrespect for the law. How ridiculous is this? Also, attorneys general in at least 26 states have challenged this via the law, which they have to win ultimately. This is so absurd. America. It's crazy the about face that was done by the My Body, My Choice people when it comes to vaccines. Mandates. Vaccine mandates. Just crazy the times we're living. I cannot believe it. What's really amazing is that Joe Biden doesn't seem to care that he has the worst presidential approval rating ever since they've been recording it. Just clearly doesn't care. Doesn't care at all. Makes no difference to him. Not trying to appease anyone. Not trying to do what the people want at all. Has his own agenda. Got to pay some people back, folks. So that's what it is. That's why I bet on oil. I knew that was coming. Oil's almost doubled since he's been in office. Wish I'd known about the others. These stocks, Pfizer, Moderna, they're absolutely flying high, just crushing. And a lot of people making a lot of money, making a lot of billionaires over there in that space. It's wild. Let's see. Where were we going with this? Crypto. And that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to leave it right there. Just, I've been saying this. I've been tooting this horn for some time. I was going to tell you PayPal. Yeah, this one's really good. I'm going to put this one in for everybody to check out. So PayPal, not only are they doing a deal with Amazon, which is such a big difference. It's Venmo that's a part of it. Venmo is crushing. Everyone loves Venmo. This is one of those apps that for some reason people feel good about. They feel good about using. It makes sense. It's sort of like a social platform too. You can kind of see what other people are sending other people money for. I don't understand why that's good. I always do mine private because I don't want anyone to see what I'm sending people money for. But a lot of people don't. And so you can see like what people are doing. It's just it's a different type of social interaction from a payment standpoint. PayPal, of course, owns Venmo, and Venmo is now doing a deal with Uber Eats too. I don't know if you've seen that. I never saw that announced. But if you want to pay for Uber Eats with Venmo, you can do that too, which is actually a heck of a lot easier to just have that one central payment platform. And Venmo, I guarantee you, Venmo, Square, Twitter's already there. Everything's going to be attached to Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time. It's absolutely happening. There's so much research and development being done. So many people being hired by companies like PayPal that are crypto specialists. It's on its way. They announced a deal with Amazon. Why would Amazon want a payment partner? Because Amazon has probably the best payment system in existence as far as being able to log in. I can get on my phone right now and I can order something in seconds. I can hold my breath, look up, and order stuff, get what I want ordered before I need to breathe. That's how good it is. Why would they want a deal with another payment vendor like Venmo? Well, because not everyone wants to use the Amazon system. Not everyone wants to use that kind of old system. Oh, well, let's just connect your bank account or your credit card or your debit card, and then we'll run it through. Some people want to use a different third party to validate, to be as a go-between, to escrow the deal, if you will, to broker the deal, if you will. Some people like that. I like it. I actually use Venmo for Uber Eats. And it's great. So much easier than trying to keep up with a card and do all these different things. You just keep up with your card and have it current in one place, and the rest of your payment gateways are all dialed in. So I think that's actually big. PayPal is something that if I wasn't so certain about Bitcoin, I would look at some of these other things to invest in, and PayPal would be one of them. I would obviously, where was it? Yes, here it is. This is another one I want to talk about. So I saw the poll. So I follow Elon Musk on Twitter. He texts out a poll saying, "Hey, should I sell 10% of my stock?" On this Twitter poll, and if people say yes, then I'll do it. Is what he said. What a crazy man! Like, Elon, why are you so crazy, bro? What are you doing? You're worth hundreds of billions of dollars. You're texting to let just people randomly tell you if they should. Here's what's crazy. 58% of the people voted yes out of over 3.5 million votes. That just shows you how many people hate it. They just hate it. They hate their friends who own Tesla and have been telling them to buy it. They hate all these people who've made all this money. They don't like Elon Musk. There's so many bears, so many Tesla bears. I got bad news for you guys. Tesla, the reason why Wall Street's so bullish on Tesla, and the reason why it gets this crazy valuation, the reason why stock is not going to stop going up, they've never had to do any marketing. You realize that? They have no marketing budget. Zero. Because they can't keep up with the organic demand for their stuff. In fact, Elon even said after Hertz said they put in an order for 100,000 Teslas, he said, hey, the Hertz deal is not a deal. We don't do deals. If you want to order cars, you can order them, but you're in line with everyone else and you pay the same price as everyone else. There's no bulk deal. You want to order 100,000 Teslas? It's whatever a Tesla costs Bob off the street. It's that times 100,000. And he said this on Twitter. He's very much an open book. I love it. But now he's going to sell 10% of his stock. So obviously the stock's going to sell off a little bit. But some Elon shares are coming in there. How crazy would it be to sell 10% of your stock in a company that you founded and make $25 billion? and still have 90% of it left. I mean, it's just nuts. Just crazy. So that was one that was interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day. Buying investment property right now is nuts. Okay. All right. Here, let's go. Let's see. Before we sign off. James, what's up, James? You know, buying an investment property right now is nuts, he says. Whoa. Let's see if I can get this into a place where it's more easily seen. Anyone buying an investment property right now is nuts. Well, disagree. I've been trying to buy investment property all year, have not had any success. It's a shame, too. I would have bought so much more Bitcoin, would have made so much money. But I was saving. I have a cash hoard that's for properties. Just haven't been able to get any. That's the real bummer for me. I'm sitting there doing nothing. But I don't think you're nuts for buying investment property. Definitely not. I got to clue you guys into the 33-year-old graph. I got to pull that up because, I mean, as far as demand for housing right now, we've got 5 or 6 extremely strong years ahead of us. We've got the next 6 years, we have more people turning 33 than we have had in the past 20 years. And it's increasing each year. And then it finally levels off between that 6th and 5th year, or 5th and 6th year. So demand is on its way, and the supply problem isn't going away. Robert's in my boat. He said, I'm trying, but it's nuts. It's nuts for a different reason, right? You can't buy one. You're trying, but it's absolutely crazy. That's the same boat I'm in. So, I don't think it's nuts to try to buy an investment property. You just got to know what you're doing. What are you getting into? Are you being honest with yourself? Those are the key components. If you're doing that, it's okay. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. You guys have a great day. Share this video with your friends. Help make them smarter than everyone else. Like, subscribe, do whatever if you want. It's all good. I'm going to be here talking. If you want to hear the words, you can. If not, it's all good. If you do want to buy or refi, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. That is what I do for a living, and I would say I'm pretty good at it. Other people might agree with me. I will take care of you. I'll make sure you know what's going on, make sure you get a good deal. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you soon.